Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner Studio, and with me today is Samuel's Public Library. With us is Erin Rooney and Michal Ashby.
Hello.
So we're going to talk about first, the library has so many programs going on, you really can't keep track of all of them, but this is the month of August, so we're going to kind of highlight the things that are going to happen in August and then move into September a little bit. So the most recent, I guess it would be the upcoming events.
Sure.
How's that? That's what we're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. So Erin has got all her brochures lined up here on our table. We're going to use those kind of like our cheat sheet. And Michal.
Perfect. It's perfect. However you want to say it.
I mispronounce her name all the time. But we're going to go ahead and we'll kind of talk about that. So what do we want to talk about first?
Sure. Well, it is coming up on the last week of our summer reading programs for the adults. You can still sign up for this last week. There's chances to win prizes. We also have our last program, which is a toothy interactive movie screening of Jaws. It's amazing when you watch that movie. In one sense, it's like watching old Star Trek things, and you see the string holding up.
Oh, yes, yes.
And kind of Jaws is the same way. And, at the time, I can remember, that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And now you look at it as so hokey and funny, you know what I mean? But
yes.
But it's still enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a classic.
It is a classic, yeah.
That'll be August 13th at 2 p.m., and we do have door prizes and chances to win a prize basket.
Well, we're going to pull that up here because she brought this prize basket, and this is a cool thing. So how are they going to win this?
So we'll have an interactive game to play, still in the works, but if you play the game, there's a chance to win extra raffles, and then we'll pull the raffle at the end. There's a chance to win. It's the
official Louisiana license plate that was
inside Jaws.
This on? That was there.
Most people don't realize Jaws was actually a book.
Really?
You have a chance to win the book first with a
customized bookmark. Look at that
with a little shark bookmark.
What else we got in there?
Oh, we have this really cool mug that the image changes as you pour in the hot coffee or whichever.
That's amazing. I love this.
And
then there'll be a couple of things like for a movie night. You'll have popcorn and we've got some Whoppers here.
Oh yeah, you got to have
little goodies.
We ought to test these, make sure they're still good. And,
that was.
That's the thing to hold it up with. Two things of Whoppers, Mark. That's what we need, right? So that is kind of cool. All sorts of neat little things. And, of course, you're going to have popcorn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely popcorn.
Wow. That's really cool. And it's free, right?
Yep. Free to come in. And if you dress up as a character or something like that, extra free raffle as well.
See? So, if you dress up and get really involved, you improve your chances of winning. Mm-hmm. You can't beat that. I'm going to set this on the floor, but let's leave this other junk of this prize goodies on here. These mugs and the technology they go to make swag. I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? So that's Jaws. That's going to happen on August the 13th.
Yes, and then we also have another program around the same time that is a drum circle. There's 4 slots left, so if anybody wants to sign up, they can go onto our website, samuelslibrary.net.
That thing went pretty quick, didn't it, the drum circle?
Yes.
Filled up. It filled up pretty quick.
There's a couple more slots, so if anybody's interested.
So what is that all about? You sitting around in a circle and beat on a drum? Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. That's like something.
We've never offered anything like that at the library before, so it's going to be wonderful.
I've seen it a lot, and that's probably it's a popular thing. I mean, the people do that.
It's sort of a type of meditation or yoga. It's meant for relaxation, so I think we'll be doing it in the garden.
There you go.
Can't get better than that, right?
Yeah, no, that's really nice. All right, what's number 2?
All right, so we are starting up again our technology program. So we have What the Tech that's going to be every Tuesday at 2 p.m. It's going to be, we have a little bit of a class structure. We'll have a theme every month. This month is browsing the internet safety, that type of thing. Okay. But if people come in and they have specific problems that they're having, if they need to know how to work their phone, their tablet, they can always come in and we can see if we can troubleshoot some issues.
Well, my 92-year-old mother, she loves Facebook. But every one of those clickbait things they see on there, well, that's interesting. Click, click, click.
Yes.
And next thing you know, virus, and then I've got to clean it off her machine. I said, don't click on anything outside the center, bar of Facebooks. Oh, but it's so interesting. That's why they put it there. So I want you to click on it. Yeah.
That's definitely one of the things we go over is how to identify phishing scams, different ways that they can try and hack you, and how to be better safe online.
They're so nice and so friendly. That's what she said about after she give them their credit card.
Never call the number, they shall.
No, never. Yeah, that's right. Never do that. They never do that. All right, that's a cool thing. That's an interesting thing, and that's open to everyone that wants to sign up.
Anybody who wants to sign up, they can go to the website, or they usually they can walk into if they have an issue.
Okay, cool. All right.
And then also we have free GED classes and ESL classes that are offered by Laurel Ridge. The ESL is no longer at the library itself, but the GED classes will be starting up again next week, so people can come in. That's every Tuesday and Thursday about 10 a.m.
That's a good thing to do. People should, people have made some decisions in their previous years and didn't get their diploma, but it's always good. After a while, they figure, I really need to do that. And so this gives them an opportunity. It's free. Just come in, take the classes, and catch up on some of the things you need to make sure you know. And, after about 10 years after you missed high school, you learn a lot of stuff and you realize that maybe I should have stayed in school and learned those things. But people, they want these. I mean, people want to do this. They, it's not like you're in high school, you got to go. This is something that people decide, I need it, and they show up and do it. So it's great. It's great. It's good to do. People need that. All right.
And then the last thing is we have our book club. We'll be having some changes to that. This will be the last month that we have every third Monday at 6 p.m. And then that's a virtual meeting. And then we have a hybrid meeting that's every third Wednesday at 10 a.m. This month's book is going to be Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. It's a really awesome historical fiction novel about the Dust Bowl. And then next month we will be meeting every third Thursday at 6 p.m.
So this book club thing, I mean, how many people show up to that?
It depends. Sometimes people prefer certain books, but we usually have enough people that we have a pretty decent discussion going on. So it's pretty fun.
They actually read the book?
Oh, yeah.
I always read the Cliff Notes and see if that, see if I'm interested in reading the book
That's
or
fair.
not.
That's fair.
I do have one more book club. It's every second Monday. It's actually tonight at 6 p.m. Anybody's interested, they can go online and register. I send out a Zoom link. It is virtual. It's called Bad Romance. So it's all about romance novels.
Bad romance.
Yep.
It is so, but you're right though. In making the book more interesting and coming to life, when you can kind of discuss it and say, I thought it was great. I remember one time, we did in school, we studied Shakespeare, right? And everybody, what is this and all? They, how teachers try to glamorize stuff and make it so like they know everything about Shakespeare, right? So they write this question. They say, why did you think? That's how I read the question. He wrote all these things and did it. I said, well, because he was an entrepreneur and he's trying to make a buck. I got my report, big F. That's not what he was trying to do. Actually, in reality,
but there's always different interpretations, and you're right. That is part of it. It's part of it.
What do you think? The teacher think. I would give you a different story because I know what you think about it. But you asked me what I think about it, and so I shouldn't have got an F. But that was kind of my end of literature, So now all my books are, business oriented and, how to make things. But I give up on all the other things. But it's great. It was interesting. I enjoyed it. Especially, I look at it and said, hey, how can this guy make a few bucks, and all the words he invented. Did you know he invented a lot of words were first used in Shakespeare's play? I learned all sorts of stuff, And
there's always different perspectives on every author. And what the professor, I was an English major, and I remember the professors always saying, we're all going to have a different perspective, and there's not necessarily a wrong viewpoint here.
Right.
And so I don't know why your professor gave you an F.
Big F. But, it's like a lot of times, there's a lot of classes on interpretation of music and songs and stuff. And I can remember John Lennon said something, they were doing classes, on the Beatles songs and stuff. He said, I never thought that when I wrote that song,
Oh.
He said, I just wrote it because it sounded cool. I had to make up a word, but they write a whole, philosophy on all these songs and try to put things in it that really,
Art's in the eye of the beholder.
Yes, very true.
And you can have a little creative license with stuff. I'm sure you get it in your bad romance
Oh, yeah.
I bet you definitely do.
We will talk about
Probably
literally
talk about everything but the book.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about everything, like different themes, different how and not everybody likes the book, and that's fine. It just adds to the discussion of like, okay, well, why didn't you like the book? And then we get into some pretty cool insights to stuff.
I would read the last chapter first and see if I like how it ends.
Other people do that. I've heard that before. You probably also talk about what constitutes bad romance. Everybody would have a different version of that.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Well, it was more of a pun, but yeah, we do get into that.
Okay.
So have you discovered some? Who picks these books, by the way?
Usually we have we'll make up a list of books that people have been talking about in the club all year, and then at the end of the year we'll kind of create a list and like, okay, well we'll vote on what we're going to do for this month, and then eventually we just kind of have our list of books.
So you're kind of like the Oprah Book Club thing right here locally, huh? Is that what it is?
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, so what else are we going to be talking about? I mean, you got a bunch of other stuff. What's happening? Is all this going into September as well? So all these things will carry on. The tech thing will go into September, and the GED and the book club will move on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff at the library. I mean, it's amazing. We get the calendars, and we publish. And this is just kind of like adult stuff here, right? Well, then there's a whole children's side.
Yes.
And that's kind of your specialty, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And just this week, we have some really special programs. So just like Erin, we have one more week left of Summer Reading Club. Oceans of Possibilities, and there's still tons of prizes. So we're hoping all the kids and teens come and visit us and get their final prizes for the summer. We have some extra special ones this summer.
I've seen some of the posts. These kids read a lot of books.
They do. I was talking to my staff, and we feel that we've had more people come in and talk about their books than we've had in, I think, 3 or 4 years. It's wonderful to see. Yeah. And so I don't know if they're just reading more or they're just more active in the children's department this year, but it's been fantastic.
It is. It's good to see.
It's been fun.
And reading is kind of like something you'll always use. I mean, you don't really realize the reading skill. My kids all were readers when they were young, and they still read. My son especially still read. Of course, he married a librarian. What does that
Oh.
So, they're all readers, and that's just what they do. They just graduate that and video games. I don't know, watch 40-year-old video game players, but they read books, so that's good. Watch very little television. So.
And there's some reading, even in video games. I've been a gamer since I was a teenager, and it doesn't prevent me from, I'm passionate about reading. I read nonstop all the time. But I also enjoy gaming, and there's a lot of games that you read. It's almost like you've read a whole novel by the end of the game.
Yeah, isn't there a series of games when it first came out? It was like all reading. What's that, Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons is a lot of reading.
Reading the whole story. And
absolutely.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So this week is exciting because on Wednesday, we have our regular at 10:15 toddler story time. And at 11, we have our preschool story time, and the theme is rainbows, which is very fitting because at 4, we have one of our last big programs of the summer. It's the Rainbow Puppets, and they do a fantastic job. They're going to be doing a wonderful puppet show all about ocean creatures, and they're even including a mermaid. Everybody
kids
loves
like
mermaids.
Mermaids and dinosaurs. That's kind of like the two things that kids
Yes, you are correct. And then Thursday, we're going to be doing a program called Toddler Trails, and it's at 10 in the morning. There's still a few slots open, and it's at Rockland Park.
Okay.
And we're going to be discussing the beauty of trees and learning how to identify all of them. And then we're going to do a beautiful leaf rubbing and a wonderful little story time. And we've been doing this series of programs in partnership with Parks and Rec, and we've had so much fun with it. We basically visit all the parks in the area, and we've even waded in the creek this summer, and we found that the creek near the library has catfish and crabs and all sorts of mysterious things that I never would have thought of. So it gets the kids out in nature, which is...
Well, when I go to the library, and it's always busy. I mean, there's always cars there. People use our library. I mean, it's kind of like a...
We're so grateful for that.
It is, and there's just so much activities going on, and your books are just everywhere. And,
yes.
But there's stuff other than books. That's the thing that amazes me. There's audio and video and games and and these classes, and you have meeting spaces where groups come and hold meetings there, and it's just like this big family gathering that happens.
Thank you, Mike. We do.
I'm kind of waiting for the amphitheater to get over. They're going to have concerts there.
We're so excited about that. And also remember, we have a beautiful children's garden.
That's right.
And we do a lot of programming in there, and we do tours of the different herbs that grow. And we even encourage the kids to pick what we have. We have organic tomatoes and berries, and if they're in the mood to nibble a bit, they're welcome to.
Right. I think it's good to get the youngest ones started in the program and getting them used to coming to the library and seeing that the resource it is. And again, and even with all the people that come, just really only is touching such a small amount of people.
That's true. We're always hoping to get in more. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the very smallest, we have a wonderful program that's been doing really well called Music and Movement, and it's for babies. And what we do is we mix multisensory activities, music, and believe it or not, beginning yoga moves. And it really has kicked off. We have a big group for it. All the babies look delighted. So we're getting them started super young. The moms are happy. Yeah, absolutely.
Moms are happy. And someone else can kind of like pay attention to my kids, right?
Yes, and the next two coming up for that is August 22nd and August 29th. Okay. So that's coming up soon.
We've still got a lot of activities left in August.
A tremendous amount. Because we also have a gaming program for teens on August 20th. And we call that Press Play, and it's at 2 p.m. And we're doing a Mario Kart marathon. So that's going to be cool. And then on top of that, on August 27th, we have a discussion group. Now, our discussion group is a little bit different from Erin's. It used to be more of a formal book discussion group. But I interviewed the teens, and they said they wanted something a little less formal, something that they could bring the books that they chose to read. So they bring all different books, and they share literature that they've been reading, art, music, pretty much anything that's on their mind. So it's a very free-flow discussion group. Okay. And it's not technically just a book discussion. It's sort of just a discussion. So that
life
will be
discussion.
going on. Yeah, it can be life, absolutely.
Things that are affecting my life and things I'm participating in. You know. There you go. It's always good.
They talk about school. Sometimes they talk about tough things too, and I think it's good for them because
people need an outlet. You know.
Yes.
And I think people feel that all the time. Like no one's listening to me.
Yes.
And I think that's a good time. Sometimes you just need to vent, you know.
Particularly if you're a teen.
That's why I do town talk. I can do all the, you know, you all just stand there. I'll give you a lot of, I can talk all day, right?
That's wonderful, though. And in addition to that, we also have another toddler and preschool story time, August 24th. This one's really special because the 10:15 is the normal toddler story time, but at 11 we have Read with the Sheriff. And the Sheriff's Office has been super supportive. They're going to start, this will be our first Read with the Sheriff. We had them in earlier in the summer for Warren Reads. But basically, they're going to be coming in almost every month and share a story. And so the first story will be a book that the sheriff was actually instrumental in helping create. So that will be super cool.
It'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're going to have a book called Assume the Position.
But we've
maybe
also
not quite that far. That's kidding now. I'm kidding, right?
But we've also had we had a great summer with Warren Reads because we had the police department in, we had the fire department EMT in, and then we also had the sheriff's office that came, and they all brought their vehicles. And it was so cute because the little ones were so excited to see each vehicle. It was such a huge thing for them. And so
it's kind of like the fire truck. They want to blow the horn or
it's a big deal. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's good, too, to see our first responders maybe in a different light than when you really need them. You know, they're seeing them out of their normal, you know, when they're rushing to a scene, you're not a victim or something. And this way here, you're kind of building that up. The sheriff's real big on that community policing. So anytime you can communicate and interact with the community, it helps the situation, I think so.
Yes, because if they know, if for example, if someone in the story time recognizes the sheriff maybe 10 years later at a traffic stop, and they're a little nervous or edgy, they're going to be more relaxed. They're going to say, hey, he's not so bad. I saw, and he's a nice guy. He's wonderful. He came to story time. So,
So I think all that helps. it all helps.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's pretty much what's going on in the children's
That's all?
department through August. But
Well,
we're so excited for September as well, and we're hoping to come more often. And so
want
maybe
you-
we could.
We'd like you to come every month and fill us in on what's happening.
We would
in the
love
month
to.
And doing that. One thing they have over there, and we talked about the last time you were in here, and that's your memory maker.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we do a lot of that, and I'm trying to entice people to go to the library to do it. So just give us a plug for that thing, because I think it's a great service.
Sure, yeah. Anybody, if you go onto our website, you can reserve a time slot to use it. It's in our computer lab. If you have old photos, I know if people are like me, they may go through an old bin and find like just some of those old film negatives that have fallen out of the sleeve, and they're just lying there. You have no idea what they are. You can take those in. We have a negative film reader that you can put those in and digitize them onto a flash drive, your own computer, things like that.
Sure.
And then we do have VHS to digital, because those VHS tapes, they don't last long.
They do not last
and
long.
they're starting to deteriorate. They've got maybe a 40-year, 50 maybe year lifespan, so they're starting to go.
Well, I'm giving them an 8mm machine so they can transfer 8mm to digital as well. So we'll see how well that goes. There's some limitations with it, but if you got those old little tiny, 3-inch video or films around that even I didn't take, that was before my time. I think I was right at the tail end of that when you had a movie camera, and getting the film developed. And so that was mostly in the 50s, when that was a big thing. So that's great.
No, it's wonderful, because I was telling Erin the other day, I have a ton of old photos from 100 years ago, and I need to get in and use this myself.
Yeah, you should. It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I read a cartoon one time. It says the archaeologists 100 years from now are going to look back, and they're going to look at this section of this part of history and say, well, they just stopped taking pictures. There are no pictures because they're all on our phones, and we're not printing them, or we're not. They're not out in the public, so to speak. They're not on a hard format. They're all digital, and you think about that. That's true. I'm talking to someone the other day. Oh, look at all these pictures. They got 10,000. I said, if that phone crashes, you're going to lose all those pictures.
You're right.
You need to download those to other medium, and if you really want to select them, and then get a few of them printed, because you'll wish you had later, when all of a sudden those pictures of your mother or your dad or your kids, all of a sudden, I got a lot of pictures of my little kids. Well, my phone died and I can't get to them. So, there's a lot to say about transferring stuff off onto other medium that you can keep and use. But it's great, and you can do that at the memory lab. So it's kind of cool.
That's one of the things we start teaching, is just because you have transferred to a digital format doesn't mean you still. Okay, it's good, it's there, it's going to be there forever. Well, hard drives can fail. You can, so we usually say you may actually, all of your digital stuff you want to update to probably a new hard drive every 5 years or so.
Right, exactly.
I have all of my middle school years on an old laptop that's 15 years old, and I'm not sure if that hard drive can even be accessed anymore.
That happens sometimes,
Got to be careful.
And the digital media deteriorates, and it worked. People still bring in those old 8-inch floppy drives and 5-inch floppy drives. Can you take this file off? I have an old drive. It may boot up. Who knows? But that's getting harder and harder, and you're going to have to send it to a place that specializes, because you just don't have the drives anymore. You can't get them, and so like I said, we transfer a lot of stuff to DVD. That lasts a little longer than the digital media, because it's a physical, but it's still digital.
And it can break.
And it does break. You get a scratch on it. And, all it takes is one little thing, and it just will not play. And even though it's all on there, and then you can get it off, but it's costly to save that data. And so now's the time to do it. Yeah. And I always tell people, just take it, make another copy of it, and keep it and keep it and keep it.
No, it's so smart.
That's what we get it back on paper.
Yeah. No, as you're talking about this, some of my daughter's 9 now, some of her baby photos were lost because one of my laptops crashed. Now, it may be that I can fix it. I have to bring it to someone. And I was able to get about half of the photos off when it was starting to do weird things. So I have half of the photos, but the other half is stuck. Yeah. And I wish I had been more diligent.
Sure. My wife brought in her camera. She said, I lost all my pictures. I think I deleted them.
Oh, no.
Luckily, I was able to undelete and use the little software trick and get in there, and I saved about 2/3 of them. But, you know.
But 1/3 was gone.
1/3 was gone.
Yeah.
Who knows what that 1/3 was, but at least we salvaged some of them. But you never know. So please, that's one thing we need to do. Please support the library. It's a great tool and a feature and I don't know how to describe the library, but it just what helps make our town a great place.
Thank you.
And the staff is great over there. There's just so many things other than books. Check out the calendar. You can see that on the Royal Examiner. We publish a calendar, the adult calendar and the children's calendar each month several times because they're always being updated. So you just look under the community events and you'll see the library posts and things. So that's great. Check out their website. And that is samuelslibrary.net. Is that what it is?
That's perfect.
samuelslibrary.net. And check it out because there's just tons of stuff on there. It's a great resource in our community. Erin and Michal.
It's a new one.
She says she'll answer. Just don't
I'll
call her.
answer to anything. Just don't call me Michael. It's okay.
That's right. Right. So anyway, they're all here. They're leaving now that I've butchered up their names and stuff. So that's okay. But please go to the library and give us some support and some love
Thank
over there
you.
too. All right. Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
ladies, for coming in. Appreciate it. We'll see you next month.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.